Inside of You is brought to you by Sonos. Guys, I've been using Sonos for years before they even became a sponsor. I've told you this. It is the best sound system out there. It is so easy to use, so convenient. I have this, it's a little box, and you put a little box with a speaker. It is a speaker. I have to explain this to you. These little devices, you could have speakers in each one of your rooms that has just beautiful sound and play a different song throughout the house, a different song in each room. I could play a party mode outside while I'm playing some Mazzy Star inside. I could play some Def Leppard if I want in the basement, and then be playing at the same time, be playing some Skinnerd up in the bathroom. It is sweet. Share the joy of listening on Sonos this season. It's a remarkable system. Make the sound system on your wish list a reality with speakers and sound bars that are easy to set up, easy to use, and all work together so you can listen in any or every room like I just talked about and bring the family together with incredible sound for everything. From classic carols to festive films, Sonos works with all your streaming services. And control is simple with the Sonos app, your voice using Amazon Alexa or Google Assistant and Apple AirPlay 2. Spoil the listener in your life with a gift that keeps on giving. Treat gamers and movie lovers to an immersive home theater experience with Beam. Keep your fitness-loving friends motivated with great sound for their workout playlists with Move. And help relatives relax with hands-free control of their music and more on Sonos One. Why would you put Sonos on your holiday list? Well, I'll tell you why. Because it's a great gift. It's sleek. They're small devices. You can put them in your home. You can easily install them. The sound is just incredible. And I think this is a wonderful gift. And they're very reasonably priced from someone who's purchased quite a few of them. So why don't you do this? Why don't you go to Sonos.com, Sonos. Go to Sonos.com to learn more and wrap up your holiday shopping. You won't be sorry. Go to Sonos.com. Tell them Rosenbaum sent you. You're listening to Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum. Thanks for being part of my life. Thanks for having me be part of your life. I'm sure you're driving to work right now, or you're just listening in your house. And Ryan, do you ever listen to the episodes?
Long pause, indicating.
Probably not.
No.
But you're here for them.
I am here.
So, I mean, you've already listened to them because you're sitting there.
I am here and I take notes and I am present in the moment.
You are. We have a great episode. We've had some really great episodes. Some people, in fact, there's some good episodes coming up. I urge you, if you're here for Azie Tesfai, stick around because we've got a lot of great guests coming up. And I mean, talk about like the episode we had that we just recorded.
Yes.
One actor talking about, really like almost giving up completely and like letting go of this world. And that was pretty intense.
That was
pretty intense.
It came from someone you would not expect it to come from.
Yeah. Somebody you think that, they have it all, life, they got life by the balls, career's great, and they're just not happy. It comes to show that, it doesn't matter how much money you have or success you have. I mean, look, we're all here. We're all doing this thing called life. So I urge you, if you're in trouble or anything, to just get some help and know that there's a light at the end of the tunnel. There is.
But the good kind, not the kind you see when you're dying.
Yes, the good light, Ryan.
Let's clarify
that. What is Rosenbaum saying? Who fucking knows? And who cares? If you want to follow us, please do it. Ryan, tell them where to follow the podcast on the handles.
At Inside of You Pod on Twitter, at Inside of You Podcast on Instagram and Facebook.
That's right. Please subscribe. You could watch the shows on YouTube. You could listen on Apple and Spotify and Stitcher and everywhere else. But it really helps. Write a review. Tell your friends. We need more people to listen. And I want to thank my patrons. Those people that are on patreon.com/Inside of You who give to the podcast more, keep us afloat. Thank you. Thank you, Jason, my editor. Thank you, Ryan, my engineer and my partner in crime here. Thanks, Bryce, my producer. Thanks, Cumulus. Thanks, everybody. The holidays are here. Ryan, are you going anywhere?
Yeah, I'm going to Hawaii.
Oh, yeah, you're going to Hawaii with family. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Well, that'll be fun, though.
Yeah, we'll be there for a while doing Hawaii things.
Why are you doing it with your family?
Doing it with Amanda's family.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you get along with them.
Yeah.
So you'll be great.
It'll be gravy. And then we're going to a wedding at the end of it. So two of my friends are getting married
Another fucking wedding
in fucking Hawaii. So original.
Well, if you're gonna get married, go to Hawaii and get married, folks. Hey, as many of you know, I volunteer and supporter for a nonprofit that is near and dear to my heart. Food on Foot is an organization that helps fight homelessness in Los Angeles. Food on Foot helps up to 300 people each week seeking food, clothing, jobs, and housing. Please join me this holiday season by making a gift to Food on Foot. Your holiday donation will be matched by Food on Foot's board, doubling your impact. So if you donate $25, Food on Foot will receive $50. Please visit foodonfoot.org for more information. I appreciate your help. And also Echoes of Hope. Can't forget foster youth. And, go to echoesofhope.org. I've been with that organization for a long time, and they do so much amazing work for the youth and for just go to echoesofhope.org. I think you're going to learn a lot by it and help someone out during these holidays. You know what I'm talking about, Ryan?
I know what you mean.
It's good to give back. It's good to give back, and I appreciate everybody here. Also, the Inside of You online store. We've got brand new Smallville lunchboxes. Just got a shipment of Smallville lunchboxes. So if you want one autographed for the holidays, you better go to the Inside of You online store. Got some great stuff and some holiday specials coming up. And also sunspin.com if you want to book a Zoom with me. And if you want any cool swag, I see Tom Welling and Stephen Amell always wearing these Sunspin shirts that I'm wearing and hats. And I love it. I love it. And also, if you want to join Patreon, patreon.com/insideofyou. And, we've got a great episode today. Azie Tesfai talks about working on Supergirl. She talks about writing an episode. She's like the first actress or actor that's written an episode of one of these shows, especially Supergirl. And she talks about wanting to be a clown when she was younger, and not like a real clown,
like clown school,
like clown school,
like legit,
like legit. Yeah, she wasn't clowning around. Fantastic episode. I really, really dug her. Can I say that? Can I say I dug her?
Yeah.
I just really enjoyed our conversation, and I think you will too. Let's just do it. Let's get into Azie Tesfai. It's my point of view. You're listening to Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum. Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum was not recorded in front of a live studio audience. Azie Tesfai. Is that right?
Yeah.
I did it right?
Yeah.
It sounds like such a Hollywood name.
Really?
Not Hollywood, like, oh, she's so Hollywood. It just sounds like you're a star.
Oh, I've never
it's like
heard that.
Brad Pitt, Azie Tesfai, Michael Rosenbaum. Doesn't fit. Which one of these names doesn't fit?
I see your point.
Can you put maybe the microphone a little closer to you, like almost like right to you?
How's that?
That's pretty good.
Thanks.
What do you think, Ryan?
Good.
Thank you, Ryan.
Yeah.
How often?
Of course. That's what
People
I'm
have been
here
harassing Ryan lately.
Aww.
Yeah. Well, harassing you, Anthony Michael Hall, Bobby Lee.
This is just so obviously close to everybody. It's like kind of out of the way, but it's just like I'm very much in the periph.
Do you think that Azie, after this interview, is going to say, yeah, the guy to the left, I forgot his name, but wasn't he a little close to me?
No, if there's multiple pillows
Yeah,
between.
there's pillows between
divided.
you're fine.
There's a pillow for it, yeah.
How many people mess your name up?
98% of people.
What have you heard?
Azie.
Mm-hmm. Azie.
Azie. The last name is always really bad. I've heard Testify, which I was like, how did you...
Azie Testify.
Tesfai.
Do you get annoyed?
I've been dealing with it since the first day of kindergarten. Every time my name was called in school, so I'm pretty used to it. And my full name is actually Azeb. Azeb Tesfai, so I've had it my whole life.
Azeb Tesfai. Do you have a middle name?
Goitum.
Azeb Goitum Tesfai.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
It's a lot.
But maybe where you're where are you from?
I'm Eritrean.
Eastern African,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And is that a typical name? So
Yes.
people wouldn't even think twice hearing it over there.
Yes, and Azie is the typical name for nickname for Azeb. I didn't come up with that.
Really?
Yeah. I got lucky.
But that's a cute name. Ozzy's a cute name, right?
I feel so validated in the first.
Yeah.
You know.
Did you notice that I had what I call, because I'm from the Midwest, we call them shitters. Did you notice that there was a porta potty outside?
I did.
You did notice that next to where you parked. And
Yeah.
You're like, why does he have a porta potty outside? Not just because I'm from Indiana.
I didn't know if that was for your guests, and you're like, this is where you go to.
That's exactly right. It's where the guests perform their duty. No, it's because I had some work around the house, so the guys brought their own porta potty.
That's thoughtful.
Isn't that thoughtful?
I think so.
Is it better than having them come inside to go to the bathroom?
They didn't assume.
They didn't assume.
They were like, we came with just like I came with my own like waters and I think it's very thoughtful to not assume.
Yeah, you came. Your publicist Morgan brought you coffee.
She did.
She's over there giving a thumbs up, but she didn't ask me if I wanted a coffee.
We didn't consider that,
No,
but you
that's
do
all
make
right.
your own. So
Yeah. So look at this: Kelly Olsen on Supergirl, Nadine on Jane the Virgin, Silicon Valley, Melrose Place, Million Little Things. You're recurring on Million Little Things.
yeah,
So you're like, are you an actor that always has to work, or you go crazy?
yeah.
Talk about that, because that always baffles me how someone has to go from one project to the next project to the next project, because what happens, and then tell me what happens to you when you're not working.
It's funny. A castmate of mine on Jane the Virgin, Justin and I are very similar in this way, and we've unpacked this a lot together. I think it's probably tied to worth and like always feeling like there is identity based in working.
Validation.
Yeah, and maybe not so much from other people, but for myself. Like I challenge myself, and then I'm like, oh, I could do that, or I'll be able to get another show quickly after this, or so it's all self-inflicted pain.
Right. So if someone's going out with you, dating you, do they feel do they feel the pressure that you feel because you're like, I have to work, I have to do this, I have to self-tape. I know how this business can be.
It's very internal. Like I don't put it on very many people around me. It's definitely it's a wild place in my mind.
Really?
Yeah. I see a therapist once a week, which is also
You
very
do?
helpful. I do, yeah.
You see that, Ryan? You see how she just comes out with that? Ryan's been going to BetterHelp.
Yeah.
And, and I love that. He tried it. He gave it a shot. And I have friends that call me and go, does this BetterHelp work? Because they're a sponsor. But like therapy has changed not only my life, but millions of people's lives. And I know David Herwood, who was who's on Supergirl. He came on the show and he was so forthcoming and so open about his history of like with mental illness and all these things. And I just was, and the first thing you said is I go to therapy, which not all actors do. They kind of want to hide that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, but most actors go. I just think.
Is that true?
Yeah, I think so. They just don't maybe share that they do, but it's important. And for me, I started seeing someone weekly because I've been on and off, but pretty much right when the pandemic started, I was like, okay, because I had to sit still. I couldn't work.
Right.
I couldn't
do anything. We were forced to just stay at home.
Yeah.
But that's when you
I found things to do.
What did you do?
I started writing. So
is then that's how it all happened?
Yeah. Yeah.
See what happens? You're forced to write at home.
Yeah.
And then you end up writing an episode for the series final season of Supergirl for an episode. That's crazy. It's like, oh, you know what? I'm going to start painting and then I'm going to be in a museum next year.
Look, I also cried and was scared and did all the things everyone did during the day. I just would carve out a couple hours to channel that into something.
And you had never written before?
No. I had written, but not like a structured script. And I got a teacher because
You hired a teacher?
I did. I hired a writing person.
How do you find a teacher who will teach you how to write? I mean, where do you find these people?
I had a friend. Well, I asked I'm going to be really honest. I worked with someone who felt really intense, who was an actual writing coach, who wasn't a working writer, and the energy was really off, and it gave me a lot of anxiety.
Right.
I called a female showrunner friend of mine and said, "Hey, do you have any writers that want to make some money and are off right now?" And she's like, "Actually, the perfect person for you." And it was a staff writer on one of her shows, and we Zoomed, and it was like we got along really well. And then 2-3 days a week, we'd hop on.
So what was the first conversation you have? So, Azie, have you written? What do you want to write? Why do you want to start writing?
Yeah.
Here's you just start from where do you start? What do they tell you to do? Just write?
I had an idea for a Supergirl storyline for Kelly. Specific
For your character?
Yeah. Yeah, because we had kind of touched on her being a war vet, but there was so much of PTSD and how we as a country treat veterans when they come back home, and we hadn't really looked at that. And we had Sean Astin on, who played like an old...
I love Sean.
He's the best.
How much do you love working with Sean? He's
the
like...
best.
They always say like Henry Winkler's the nicest guy in the business, and I think Sean Astin's like number 2.
He really is, and his daughter is a big fan of Supergirl, so he's seen every episode. It's their bonding thing they do together.
Are you kidding me?
No, he's seen every, and there's over 100 episodes of Supergirl they've watched.
How many have you been in?
I don't know, like 40 or 50.
And so you got the idea to, and I want to get into this.
Yeah.
But I also want to go back to something you just talked about. You said therapy.
Yeah.
Did you get into therapy just during COVID? Was that the first time, or you had been going for years?
I had done it before off and on, but I hadn't consistently. And I had like my dog passed, and
Me too. When did your dog pass?
March.
My dog passed
First week of March.
5 months ago.
Oh, I'm
so what was
sorry.
that? It's about the same. Yeah, it was hard. 13 years.
Oh my gosh, it's brutal, and I was, alone in Vancouver. My dog was like my other half,
it's your
essentially.
companion.
Yeah. So, and then a friend of mine had suddenly passed, and
Wow.
and then a week later, COVID, and our show got shut down. So I was like prime. I'll tell you something. I have a really good girlfriend of mine when all that stuff went down, who was like, I didn't know how to support you.
Right.
And so what I did was I called a bunch of trauma therapists in Vancouver, and I narrowed it down to 2, and I went ahead and booked sessions with them and told them everything you've been through so you don't have to. So here you go. And it was like the most thoughtful, incredible.
What?
I know. She's a really good friend. Yeah.
Wait, so this person called up a therapist and said, this is what they've gone through. They lost a dog. They've been dealing with this. Told as much. And this person knew you inside out.
She and talked to a couple and was like, she's not going to like that person. These 2 women feel like a good vibe. And then talk them through it so that I didn't have to, rehash everything.
So you just went right into it?
Mm-hmm.
Did you have what's called, I had, when I went through a breakup, they said I had what's called situational depression. That it was just, this is the situation. You went through a breakup and that's why you're depressed. You're not really a depressed person per se. Little did they know that, it wasn't just that situation. But was it just a situation for you? Was it just like a sort of a time that you were just having a tough time getting through?
I think it's a little of both. I definitely can. I don't know. It's really hard to assess coming out of 3.5, 4 years in Vancouver, I think, too, because you're so isolated, and I definitely have seasonal depression up there. And so, and the winters are so long, I'm just not sure. I've got to reassess where I land now that I'm back. But it was hard again because my situation bled into a 2-year pandemic. So it wasn't like, my dog passed and then I was getting out of it. Then there was like all crazy fires of the world going on. And I don't know. So to be determined, maybe I'll get back to you on that.
What helps you? What helps you get through days? What helps you? Do you have a regiment? Do you have something that you do? Mm-hmm. What is that?
I wake up and make coffee. This is like my favorite thing to have.
The simple things, right? The simple things.
And I like making, like frothing the milk, and I find all that relaxing. And then I journal. For me, like doing morning pages, I guess they're called, from the artist's way, but doing 3 pages and just letting everything kind of come out helps a lot if I wake up with anxiety. And then I do breath work sometimes.
What kind of breath work?
Wim Hof.
Wim Hof. Is that the deep shit?
That's like it's apparently alkalines your body, but there's an app you can follow, and
I'm breathing now. I'm like trying. I'm like
it's you hold it and then it almost feels like you're gonna faint. I mean, but it's pretty incredible. And years ago, McCod Brooks
who's Jimmy Olsen,
who played my
James
brother,
Olsen, right?
He really tried to get me into it, and I just wasn't into it. And then castmate on Million Little Things, Allison Miller, she got me to do it. She got on FaceTime with me. I was like, we're doing this together. And because I wasn't sleeping. It was post dog dying. And then I slept like fully that night well. And I was like, all right, this works for me.
Were you one of those people that would take any medications? Like, because for a while there, I would take Xanax or Ambien, and they say it's the worst. And it was the worst. I think it messed me up pretty good.
I right when all of that went down at the same time, I did take something for anxiety, but I think it was like a day or two, and then not really. I really like to feel the pain and suffering.
It helps with your acting.
It does. No, I don't. I don't know. I try to find natural as much as I can ways to, especially because it was something that I felt like I had to work through.
Right.
Yeah.
What are some natural ways? Like obviously the
Exercise,
breath work.
which is annoying. I mean, it's true. Like sweating and getting active. I'm a big Stanley Park loop bike rider in Vancouver.
Stanley Park, guys, is in Vancouver, British Columbia. I was there for 7 years for Smallville, and I know about Stanley Park. And when she talks, look, it's one of the most beautiful cities in the world.
Yeah.
But during the winters,
Yeah.
it's gray and it rains for 7 months. And
Yeah.
as beautiful as it is, it can be taxing. So
Yeah.
that, with COVID,
Yeah.
with your dog passing, with all these
Yeah.
things, you have to have this regimen. So you're doing breath work, you're going to Stanley Park, you're
Yeah.
exercising, you're sweating.
Well, the good and bad, but we shut down. So I was able to come back here right after all that happened. And so I was around friends and family in a safe environment. But therapy really is big.
And you go every week?
Every week I was
Really?
standing, yeah. For the last year.
I think I make the mistake of like going to therapy and then I go, oh, I feel okay. And then I don't. And then I go down till I need therapy again. And it's something that I think you need to have upkeep. Is that what it's called? You have to just be on top of it. I looked at Ryan. Ryan just started going to therapy. I should be looking at you.
Silent nod of like, I'm just here to support you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
sure.
I've fallen off before. I just haven't maybe honestly like felt like, okay, yeah, I'm good stopping. Just because it's been a big transitional time. And then when we went back to shooting, the border was closed. So we were locked down hardcore, only interacting kind of with your castmates. No one can come in or out of Canada. For us, it was the last season was what, 11 months?
11 months you were there?
I think so. September until August.
Now you had to, I know you're not going to tell me this, but you had to get sick and tired of your castmates.
Yeah, I'm not touching that. It's
No,
terrible.
but Jesus, I mean, look, you hang out with anybody for 11 months or 11 hours.
Yeah.
You're going to be like, okay, you need to have a different change of scenery.
The good thing is because there's so many shows that were locked down, I had friends on other shows, and so there was community where you didn't have to hang out with people you worked with necessarily, not for any other reason than you're with them all the time. And a lot of people had family, so I didn't have anyone up there. But most people, like Kyler has a husband and kids, and they had their own worlds.
So you didn't have anybody except your dog.
Yeah.
And when did the dog pass? In March?
March, and then I ended up rescuing. When I came home to join the writer's room, I rescued a pup in December.
What a damn treat. What kind of dog?
She's some sort of poodle mix. Her name's Daisy. Somebody told me recently she was my teacher. I was like, great.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Isn't it amazing how just having an animal in the house, it just elevates your whole disposition, like your whole feeling. Like I could be really sad and I walk in and there's this unconditional little thing that just kisses me and loves me and wants me to take her out. And you met Blanche. She jumped on your publicist. Jeez, I don't know what the hell that was, but
Blanche. I felt very supported and secure and loved, and it was like solid. She was like, "This is where we're going."
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
She led you the way. She led you to the podcast room. Yeah. So Daisy, you feel like Daisy really helps you out?
Yeah, I mean, she's tricky. She came with a lot of issues.
What were the issues?
She's really loud, like in the streets. She like barks at like a paper bag, and it's I'm like, you gotta chill out. She's very attached because she was abandoned multiple times, right. and she was actually a China kill shelter meat dog. So I had her rescued from So that's like dark.
Wow.
To be almost eaten.
Did you barely get her in time?
She's really cute. I feel like it was only a matter of time for someone to get
Someone
her.
was going to eat that little thing up.
Yeah. But now I tell the story in front of her, and she has a reaction for sure to it.
She understands.
She's like, "It's too soon. I'm not ready to unpack that with you yet." But it's so funny. I didn't, and I've never talked about this, but I also didn't. I was very social media heavy with George, the dog that passed, and I didn't with Daisy for a long time, and I felt like she knew.
She's like, what about me? Am I not pretty enough?
Totally. I would do like lives and she would all of a sudden start pacing in a place she's never paced that happens to be in. She's like the girlfriend that's like, I know you posted pictures of your ex and like we've been dating for a while. I don't know what's going on. Yeah.
Yeah.
I need more people in Vancouver. Clearly, this is what I'm psychoanalyzing.
Obviously, well, it's hard. It's like you have to have. I'm sure you have some people.
Yeah.
You know those friends that you FaceTime constantly. That the one or two that you need to help get you through things. Yeah. Just seeing their face makes you smile. Are you close with your family, with your parents?
Yeah, my mom and I are really close.
Where are they?
In LA.
In LA.
Yeah, but my mom, she is not married, so she was also in it alone and older. So it was a very different experience of fear for her. So it was kind of supporting her more than just wanting her to feel good. I still got to be around people. My nervous system got resets of being around energy on set. I wasn't isolated.
Right.
And again, there really is a community of people that I'm really close with on some of the other shows that I hang out with all the time.
Who are some of these people that you hang out with?
Candace Patton and I are really close.
Right.
And Javici and I are really close, and Camrys on Batwoman, and
wow.
Yeah, we have Cam we do game nights.
What kind of games do you guys play?
Taboo is a big one.
Taboo. What's Taboo? Taboo is the one where you write an answer in there. There's a fake answer.
You get a word and you can't say like 5 words underneath it. And then there's someone with a buzzer by your ear, which gets very loud with a bunch of...
So like it's Kennedy, for instance, John F. Kennedy. And you can't say shot. You can't say head.
President.
You can't say president. You can't say junior.
Marilyn Monroe.
You can't say Marilyn Monroe. Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah.
That's fun.
It's fun.
We should play some Taboo.
And then there's like a game with like dice. I don't even know what it's called that was introduced into the group.
Left, right, center?
Yes.
Is that the drinking game?
But we do it
with money.
We do it with money.
So you bet money.
And you know who tends to win this game, which is very frustrating?
Who?
David Ramsey, who doesn't need it. Yeah. And I'm like, you are the last.
Why do you say David Ramsey doesn't need it? Is it because he's just been working for so long?
He's been working for so long. He was like on the OG show of Arrow, and he's like directing everything, and he's like nonstop.
He is. He's coming on the podcast too, and he keeps texting me. He says, "Hey Rosenbaum, I'm busy. I'm doing this thing. I want to come on." He's great. I know you worked closely with him.
Yeah, he directed
the Supergirl episode.
I wrote. Yeah.
What was it called?
Blind Spots.
Blind Spots. I knew that.
Yeah.
Inside of You is brought to you by Helix Sleep. What would you say, Ryan? The number one thing in life is, besides being happy, what's important?
Well, I think one step to being happy is getting a good night's sleep.
That's for damn sure. Getting a good night's sleep, being comfortable on your bed, waking up, feeling refreshed every day. Helix Sleep is going to do that for you guys. Helix Sleep, check this out. They have a quiz that it's just 2 minutes. It's so easy. I did this. This is simple. You take a 2-minute quiz to complete and match your body type and sleep preferences to the perfect mattress for you. Why would you buy a mattress made for someone else? You just wouldn't. With Helix, you're getting a mattress that will be perfect for you and the way you sleep. And everybody's unique, and Helix knows that, so they have several different mattress models to choose from. Soft, medium, and firm mattresses. I took the quiz. I'm a medium. I'm like the porridge, like the medium. Too hot, too cold for me. Right down the middle. That's what I'm doing. And they have mattresses great for cooling you down if you sleep hot, and even a Helix Sleep mattress for plus-size sleepers. It's been awesome getting messages from you guys telling me how much you really appreciate Helix. I've had friends say, come on, is Helix really the stuff? Is it really good? And I tell you, I have people always ask me, friends, is this product good? Is this product good? I really don't like to read products unless I'm sold on them, unless I really believe in them. And so there you have it. So if you're looking for a mattress, just take the quiz, order the mattress that you're matched to, and the mattress comes right to your door, shipped for free. You don't ever need to go get a mattress store, go to a mattress store again. It's that easy. And you don't need to take my word for it, Ryan. Helix was awarded the #1 best overall mattress of 2020 by GQ and Wired magazine. Does that tell you something?
Wow. Just go to helixsleep.com/inside, take their 2-minute sleep quiz, and they'll match you to a customized mattress that will give you the best sleep of your life.
They have a 10-year warranty, and you get to try it out for 100 nights risk-free. They'll even pick it up for you if you don't love it, but you will. And Helix is offering up to $200 off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows for our listeners at helixsleep.com/inside. That's Helix, HELIX, sleep.com/inside. helixsleep.com/inside for up to $200 off and 2 free pillows. Inside of You is brought to you by Truebill. Ryan, do you know why free trials renew without your consent?
So they can get you.
Yeah, it's a business scam out to get you, Ryan.
They want you to forget.
Yeah. Don't let greedy corporations pocket your money. Download Truebill to take control of your subscriptions. This is so easy to use. Truebill is the new app that helps you identify and stop paying for subscriptions you don't need, want, or simply forgot about. On average, people save up to $720 a year with Truebill.
Because companies make subscriptions hard to cancel, Truebill makes it incredibly simple. Just link your accounts and Truebill will cancel your unwanted subscriptions in one tap.
It's so true, Ryan, too, because, you know, even when you get like an app or a subscription on, an app when you're watching a movie, like, I won't say their names, but like Disney Plus or something like that, or you want a trial. A lot of times when you have trials with certain companies, all of a sudden you're done with the trial, but it just kicks in because you have to put your credit card information there. So now you're screwed and you're like, well, I've been paying this for 6 months and you don't know it. Truebill helps you find all those things and gets rid of them. So you save money. It's really extraordinary. I love Truebill. And your Truebill concierge is there when you need them to cancel unwanted subscriptions so you don't have to.
Truebill has over 2 million users and helped save them over $100 million.
Good Lord. Don't fall for subscription scams, folks. Start canceling today at truebill.com/inside. Go right now. These guys are going to help you out. Truebill.com/inside. It could save you thousands a year. Truebill.com/inside. So go back. Did you always want to be an actor? Did you, since you were a little girl? Because I read somewhere that you wanted to be a clown.
I did.
Is that true?
Yeah.
How old were you?
Not like a cool, I feel like people assume that it's like a cool Cirque du Soleil clown. Like I wanted to do kids' birthday parties.
You really were aspiring to something.
I did. I remember in kindergarten pulling a clown aside and being like, listen, just give it to me straight. Like, how did you get on this path? What do I need to do to set myself up to win? And she was like, you should not be a clown.
Is that what she said?
Yeah.
You do not want to do what I'm doing.
You do not want to do it. I was
First
like,
of all, it was all in squeaks though. It wasn't like actual words. It was all in like
she had just done like a
squeaks.
balloon animal, and I was
Yeah.
like, listen, lady, you learned that somewhere. Can you fast track me?
Yeah, and I think you have to really love children. Mm-hmm. Do you love children?
I don't think that was a consideration for me at the time.
Because you were a child.
I was a child.
So you didn't think about those
I think
things.
it was like clown clothes, balloons, build your own schedule.
Feels like fun.
Yeah, fun. You make people happy. You like, there's, you're mobile. Everything's just in your car, and then you can like.
When did those dreams fade?
3rd grade.
3rd grade. All right, so you were really young. I mean, I don't remember wanting
Yeah.
to do anything except the moonwalk when I was in 3rd grade.
I wanted to be a clown from like preschool to 3rd grade, so it was a good 5 years of my life. So I pursued it heavily in that time. But no, 3rd grade, I was like, okay, this isn't
Were you?
This isn't gonna work.
There's some solid perks though. I'm kind of getting sold on clown.
Right?
Yeah.
Getting sold on clown.
Sold on clown. There's the name of your next album.
Sold on
Sold
clown.
on clown. Yeah.
Well, what did the passion? Where did it go to?
I mean, I'm the child of immigrants. I'm a first-gen kid. So then it was, you have to be a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer. We've escaped war for you to have opportunity.
Jesus.
So these are the things that we know you can do and be successful in this country. So I truly thought, like, I'm not good at math, so I'm not going to be a very good engineer. I don't like the sight of blood. I'm not going to be a good doctor. And so I was like, okay, I guess I'll be a lawyer. And then that kind of carried me through college.
Through college. So
Yeah.
you went to high school and then you said, I'm going to be a lawyer.
Yeah.
You went to college. Did you start taking like classes
Yeah.
to be a lawyer?
I was planning.
Like,
I studied business, but I was pre-law. Yeah.
like, did you take constitutional law, con law? Did you learn all those dates? CBS Radford, 1973, and have to learn all those?
I did. Yeah.
Really?
None of it is stuck, but yeah. Because to my own fault, I didn't intern with an entertainment lawyer until my senior year, and then I interned with a corporate lawyer, and I was like, this is not what I want to do. Why didn't I do this earlier?
So you're really smart.
I'm okay. No, I
You got good grades in college?
I did. I was.
You
one
made
of
the
those
parents proud?
AP classes and.
God, I never took those classes.
Yeah.
I mean, even chemistry 101 I got out of. Because I couldn't handle it. I just couldn't handle school. I don't know how I got through it. I probably cheated a lot. I'm not kidding. I probably cheated a lot. In fact, probably I did. I remember cheating on certain papers, and I just was slower. I couldn't. I had ADD. I was all over the place. It was very hard for me to concentrate. Were you, it sounds like you were really focused in college.
Yeah, I was pretty type A. And
you didn't do any acting in college?
No. My best friend growing up was a very successful teen actress, and I got to witness it through her, and not the best way.
Who was that?
Her unmarried name was Lily Sobieski.
I know that name.
She was like the teen. She did a movie called The Glass House. And
yes.
Eyes Wide
Blonde
Shut.
hair.
Yes.
Yeah. See, I remember that.
That's crazy that you remember that. Yeah. So I got to see through her kind of the chaos of it. And I was like, I have no desire. I get to go to the Teen Choice Awards with her, but I don't have to do any work. It was the best of.
And you grew up in LA?
Yeah.
And so you got to see Hollywood firsthand growing up.
Yeah.
And you lived sort of, I don't want to say vicariously through her, but you got to see Hollywood through her.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you had no desire.
None. Yeah.
That's crazy because all the attention she's getting and the people and the free shit. Don't you love free shit?
But I kind of got it by association. So again, I got the best of it without having to do it. And I went to this not weird, it was great, but a very small French high school here in LA. And so there were a couple other actors that went to our school.
Who's that?
We're going to name.
I love the name drop. Yeah, we have a game we play that when you name drop, you have to drop something like drop a pen. Oh yeah, so I work with Clint Eastwood. And then you just drop something.
I had no choice in who I was educated next to, but we had Claire Danes went there and Jessica Biel, and that was really it.
Big names.
Yeah.
And it was a French school?
Yeah, international French school. So there were kids from all over the country.
Do you speak French?
I used to really fluently, and now I'm okay.
Je t'aime.
Oh,
Comment ça va?
Merci beaucoup. Ça va bien? Et tu?
No, that's it.
Okay.
I just say I love you. How are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
Comment ça va? Comment ça va?
Ça va? Yeah. Oui.
Well, see, so you know some. You can understand.
I'm okay. Yeah.
So when was it that you sort of go, I'm going to try this?
I don't think I've ever talked about this, but my senior year of college, I went through a crazy breakup, and I went to school in Northern California. I went to Cal Berkeley, and I my friend, there was an opportunity for this show, and I just wanted to get out of Berkeley, pretty much. I was like, I'm going through this breakup. I need to get out of town. And that was when Southwest had their flight, from the 1 hour flight you could take anywhere, pretty much.
Yeah.
And so I just came home, and then I auditioned for this weird Nickelodeon thing.
Wait, what made you even know that there was a Nickelodeon thing?
So my friends, my best friend was still kind of acting, but her man, there was just something that was physically very specific that worked. I don't remember what. It was pretty much like Surfer Girl #5, but right. Doesn't need to surf, but can wear a bikini. One of those. And I was like, I'll do it. And so I came down, auditioned, and then and they were like, oh, actually, we're gonna make this a regular, and you got it. And
you had lines?
Yeah.
What'd you say? Do you remember your lines?
I don't remember.
No, I won't go over there.
Yeah.
Something like that.
That's a really cool wave. Yeah, something like that.
That's a really cool wave.
Yeah.
You're a really great surfer.
Yeah. It really wasn't about the acting.
You were just a beauty.
I think they just, it was not a deep.
Not demanding.
No. And my mom was like, you're not dropping out of college for something you don't even want to do. But then it was enough for me to kind of be like, oh, maybe I'm interested in this.
So you enjoyed it. You were on set and you started to enjoy this?
I didn't. I just kind of was curious. But then my first real thing I got right after college was one of those telenovela My 13 soapy shows.
Right.
And it was filmed in San Diego, and that I loved. Like, I was like, oh, I did, I think, 60 episodes of that.
How did that come about?
I came back. She was also a surfer party girl.
So we're getting typecast early on in our careers. I think we have that.
Yeah. And it was great. It was one of the best experiences. And then I fell in love with it working.
Really?
It was and even then I was like, oh, maybe I'll still go to law school. Like I hadn't committed until I was well into a TV show.
How pissed are your parents at this point?
Well, I think they were pissed. I think becoming a superhero helped because that's just cool. And seeing that one sheet, I think they were like, oh, and no, I'm the first from my country to ever be a superhero. So,
well, not on the telenovela show or whatever.
No, Supergirl.
Exactly, but that was years later.
Oh, then they were pissed. My dad would take.
Exactly.
Yeah. But they just didn't understand that you could. They thought it was a hobby, and so they're like, "Why are you spending so much time on a hobby?" They didn't understand that you could actually have a career in it because there were no examples of that.
But you're saying, "Mom, I'm making money," and how much are you making at that time, like an episode?
I don't remember. I think it was like a soap opera salary. I mean, good, probably like
a couple thousand a week.
More than that.
Really?
Like $12,000 a week.
$12,000 a week.
Yeah.
For a soap opera.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
And I was straight out of college, so.
Oh my god.
Everyone else was like, yeah. I was like, this.
They're like, screw being a lawyer, screw being a doctor. Look at all this money you're gonna make.
All I have to do is be in a bikini and make out with random people.
But didn't you have a lot of lines on that soap opera?
Yeah. We did like an episode a day.
Okay, well, see, let me ask this then. So if you go from really nothing, going from surfer girl, to having all this dialogue.
Yeah,
it sounds like you don't just fall into that and learn lines and memorize them and you're off to the races. Don't you have to get training or don't you?
I did that. Once I realized that it was happening, I had a coach and I worked at it a lot.
How hard was it to learn all those lines?
Really hard, but it's like a muscle memory for whatever reason. I also just come out of college where I was like writing thesis statements and like my mind was so exercised that it was weirdly probably not as hard as it was for other people on the show that hadn't just come out of school.
You have a really high IQ, don't you?
I don't know what my IQ
I bet you
is.
do.
I like that I just look at you as if you would know.
I would guess it's probably in the 130s, 140s.
I'll take it.
I'm probably 108.
Have you ever taken your IQ test?
I think a long time ago, but I don't remember exactly what it was. Or maybe I'm just not telling you because I'm embarrassed. Ryan, do you know what your IQ is?
No idea.
Do you know I was at a party once and Sharon Stone.
Drop the.
Just drop, name drop. She was at the party going, my IQ is through the roof. And I'm like, oh my God, shut the fuck up. Are you serious? She was going to everybody. She says, oh no, like they have told me my IQ is like genius. Off the tree. Is that something you go around saying?
No.
I don't even know.
I guess if you're Sharon Stone.
Yeah, I don't know.
So your parents at this point, you're making money. You're making somewhat of a living. You're doing things. Are they at this point like going, hey, we're proud of you. Like continue this? No.
Not yet. But I also then didn't work. Then I had, they were like, okay, we'll back off a little bit. But then when I wasn't working for years and just auditioning, and once I fell in love with it, it went away, which.
So you hit a lull.
Yeah. They were like, okay, so are we done?
And did you think maybe you were?
I've had moments. I will say my mom came down to visit when I was shooting that show and saw the spark of passion, and bless her, she pushed me through a lot of the I might want to quit. Because once she saw that I was really passionate about it, she was like, you can do anything, so I'm going to support you in doing this.
Why were you so passionate? What is it about acting that makes you passionate?
I mean, I am very indecisive of what I want to do with my life, so the fact that you get to have many different lives by playing different characters feels really cool. That feels exciting to me. There's few moments where I felt like there's nowhere else I want to be. Usually I'm like always thinking ahead or trying to do, or I just feel really aligned, and those have been in acting situations when they've happened. Yeah. Like in the show I'm doing now, it's been so great that I'm like, oh, I forgot how much I love acting.
What, Million Little Things?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it you have to really? Is it a lot of dialogue for you too?
A lot of dialogue, and it's just two people having a conversation. There's no one flying over you. There's no explosions, and I love that.
So you're saying Supergirl was easy for you?
It wasn't easy because it looks cooler being a superhero than it is when you're doing it. You're like, oh, this is really hard and uncomfortable, and so it was challenging in a different way.
Right.
And honestly, Kyler's a great actor. So for working with her was always amazing because if I ever got comfortable, she would throw something at me to get me like back on my game in a scene or.
Right. Is Supergirl the first? Is the biggest show that you've gotten, or do you think Jane the Virgin was that was probably your first biggest show?
Yeah.
And that was a popular show. I mean,
Yeah.
didn't the cast or something get nominated for a Golden Globe in that?
Yeah, our first season.
Right. So it was something that people. Did you ever watch it, Ryan?
No, I never saw it.
Yeah, but a lot of people did.
Yeah.
And so that was your first big break. Is that something that your mom and your dad sort of like their eyes open, like, oh, wait a minute, our little girl is doing something big now?
Mom, yes. Dad still wasn't sold.
Still wasn't sold.
Still wasn't.
We're gonna get there.
But I think Jane was so unexpected in that I came on episode 2 right after the pilot, and then by episode 9 we were at the Golden Globes and Peabody Awards and People's Choice Awards. So it was very jarring in an exciting way, but it bonded a lot of us, I think, because we were like, what are we doing in this?
Well, it had to be exciting going from, what do they call telenovela?
Yeah.
Was that right? Telenovela?
Yeah.
Shows, soap operas, to Surfer Girl,
Yeah.
To Jane the Virgin and being at the Golden Globes.
Yeah.
That had to be like an eye opener for you, for the people around you, going, hey, because a lot of times, we do not great work.
Yeah.
Or we do great work in something that's not great.
Yeah.
But
It was the first time people really were fans and watched.
They paid attention to you.
Yeah.
They're like, she's something to look at. She's something to take.
And more the show. Like, I think people have a very intense emotional attachment to it. I was at this bookstore in Vancouver that I go to a lot, and the woman that was working out front came up and was like, I just want you to know, like, this Jane the Virgin was my pandemic. Like, my brother passed and she started crying, and it was like but like that's really common for that show because it's a feel good and people, it's like their safe place.
Wow.
So it was the first time I'd had that where people were sharing very intimate information because I was a part of something that was special to them.
How often do people come up to you and recognize you? How often do you get that?
It depends. In Vancouver, much more, I think, just because we're all there and people know.
In LA, no one gives a shit because it's like, actors are everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I think Jane is the one because it feels personal. I think it's like when someone shares something about themselves that's vulnerable and someone's experienced that, then you want to come up and share that with that person, whether it's your mental health struggles or, A Million Things deals with suicide as a storyline. Then you get people that come up to you and want to share that. And so I think with Jane specifically, anywhere, whether it's like immigration storylines, they want to tell they want to tell you their story.
Right.
Yeah.
How do you? Because like the thing is, you're having a bad day, you're having whatever kind of day, and people come up to you, you sort of have to give them that attention. Are you someone who could just turn it on really quickly and be like, hey, great, thank you so much, or fuck off? Yeah. There are some people that can easily just be like, I met so-and-so and that Rosenbaum is just an asshole. And I'm like, I was having a fucking bad day. I lost my dog. People don't know what you're going through or what you went through. But how do you feel about that? Do you usually turn it on?
I try. I think sometimes maybe I've not been as connected and warm if I'm having a bad day, but I always try. And I think with Supergirl specifically, it's usually girls, and they look up to so many of us girls. And so for me, that always, they're so sweet, and it gets me out of a bad mood, weirdly, meeting them, because they're so excited and kind, and yeah.
Inside of You is brought to you by my good friends at BetterHelp. BetterHelp Online Therapy. Boy, I can't tell you how much this works. I get emails all the time. Thank you for talking about BetterHelp. Thank you for getting me into therapy. Ryan does BetterHelp.
I do.
I just had a friend this morning. I was FaceTiming with him, and his wife said, my kid's dealing with depression. Mm-hmm. And do you know any good therapists? I go, well, BetterHelp Online Therapy. because they're in the middle of sort of nowhere and you don't need to go anywhere. You can FaceTime or text or, it's BetterHelp is just, it's amazing. It's helped you out.
Yeah, it's convenient. And,
it's convenient.
Yeah, it has been good. I have gotten a lot out of it.
Well, I like that. Look, whether you're struggling with grief, relationships, or stress, or having trouble sleeping or meeting goals, online therapy might be for you. BetterHelp is secure online therapy that offers video, phone, and even live chat sessions with a licensed professional therapists. BetterHelp will assess your needs and match you with your own accredited therapist. You can be matched with a therapist in under 48 hours. And you don't have to sit in an uncomfortable waiting room. Therapists have a broad range of expertise which may not be available in your area. The service is available for clients worldwide. You can log into your account anytime, folks. Send a message to your therapist. You'll get timely and thoughtful responses, plus you can schedule weekly video or phone sessions. BetterHelp is committed to facilitating great therapeutic matches, so they make it easy and free to change therapists if you need. And that may happen. You meet someone the first time, you may not vibe with them, you change a therapist. BetterHelp, it's that easy, and I completely recommend this. So many people have told me it works. It's more affordable than traditional offline therapy by a landslide, if you ask me, and financial aid is available. Visit BetterHelp.com/inside. and join over the 2 million people who have taken charge of their mental health with the help of an experienced professional. In fact, so many people have been using BetterHelp, Ryan, that they are recruiting additional therapists in all 50 states. Inside of You is sponsored by BetterHelp, and our listeners get 10% off their first month of online therapy at BetterHelp.com/inside. That's BetterHelp.com/inside. Give it a shot. BetterHelp. Inside of You is brought to you by Sonos. Guys, I've been using Sonos for years before they even became a sponsor. I've told you this. It is the best sound system out there. It is so easy to use, so convenient. I have this, it's a little box, and you put a little box with a speaker. It is a speaker. I have to explain this to you. These little devices, you could have speakers in each one of your rooms that has just beautiful sound and play a different song throughout the house, a different song in each room. I could play a party mode outside while I'm playing some Mazzy Star inside. I could play some Def Leppard if I want in the basement, and then be playing at the same time, be playing some Skinnerd up in the bathroom. It is sweet. Share the joy of listening on Sonos this season. It's a remarkable system. Make the sound system on your wish list a reality with speakers and sound bars that are easy to set up, easy to use, and all work together so you can listen in any or every room like I just talked about and bring the family together with incredible sound for everything. From classic carols to festive films, Sonos works with all your streaming services. And control is simple with the Sonos app, your voice using Amazon Alexa or Google Assistant and Apple AirPlay 2. Spoil the listener in your life with a gift that keeps on giving. Treat gamers and movie lovers to an immersive home theater experience with Beam. Keep your fitness-loving friends motivated with great sound for their workout playlists with Move. And help relatives relax with hands-free control of their music and more on Sonos One. Why would you put Sonos on your holiday list? Well, I'll tell you why. Because it's a great gift. It's sleek. They're small devices. You can put them in your home. You can easily install them. The sound is just incredible. And I think this is a wonderful gift. And they're very reasonably priced from someone who's purchased quite a few of them. So why don't you do this? Why don't you go to Sonos.com, Sonos. Go to Sonos.com to learn more and wrap up your holiday shopping. You won't be sorry. Go to Sonos.com. Tell them Rosenbaum sent you. How many episodes of Supergirl did you do before COVID? I guess there was quite a few, right?
Yeah, I guess 2 seasons.
2 seasons
so
of that.
40, yeah.
So it wasn't until then COVID hit where you started to want to write.
Yeah.
And that's when you got into this whole thing where you had this about racial injustice and all these thoughts for Supergirl. And how did that, so you wanted to write an episode. Is that what you ultimately wanted to do, was to write an episode of Supergirl? Was that what got you into the writing, or you that kind of came about?
So I think, it was also the COVID and Black Lives Matter, and it was this really activated time. And I think just even having gone through what I was saying I went through with loss of a close friend and my dog, and I was unpacking a lot of stuff and realizing within myself things that I pushed down and said was okay that weren't, and trauma, things were coming up for me. Again, I was doing a lot of therapy.
Right.
And so I started to write more for myself. And then stories that I was like, I want to tell these stories, and I have, why can't I? More as like a producer, like I want to get someone to do this. And I think I realized if I can't write, it's a disadvantage, and it would only help me to learn how to.
Right.
And for the upcoming season of Supergirl, I really wanted to tell a war vet story and go a little deeper in the Sean Astin, kind of where we started, but like really explore it.
And how do you do that? Because it sounds so daunting that, you got the show going on for so many years that you want to just jump in and write an episode, or because where does it fit? Because you got to think there's arcs and there's episodes that lead into other episodes, and they're crossing into each other. And there's like, then they have the multi-universe or whatever, the Arrowverse and all these things. So, I mean, it takes a lot of chutzpah, as the Jews say. Chutzpah. I'm a Jew. I could say that. Because if I said as the Jews say, and I was like, if I was black and I said it, or if I was, not Jewish, I'd get in trouble probably nowadays, wouldn't I?
But you're like, I'm good.
But I'm good because I'm a Jew. So the Jews say.
I think you're good. I think anyone's good.
Anyone's good saying that?
Yeah.
But where'd you, the chutzpah of like going in and like writing an episode? Because that's, you sort of wrote a piece, right?
Yeah.
You wrote an episode?
Yeah. But again, it was my version of, it had nothing to do with the storylines on the show. I knew what was happening with my character because our showrunners really did, end of season, beginning of season, told you pretty much your whole arc. So we had a really good idea.
Right. Okay.
Of what was
That's
happening.
good.
But again, so I wrote this with that idea of that. Also, I was finding my voice a lot because I've always been someone that never wants to be difficult, and to the detriment of myself. And I was starting to realize that speaking up for myself didn't make me difficult. And asking for things that I want was something I had never really done. I just like, I'm just happy to be here. I don't want to. And I started realizing that if I didn't do that, that it wasn't going to go well. And anyone could call you anything, like no matter what you're doing. So you might as well like stand for yourself. And I started asking for things. And
what were you asking for?
I had called the showrunner and creator of Jane the Virgin, Jenny Erman, and I was talking through some stuff with her because I'm still very close with her. And I was like, I want to make these shows, and these are my ideas. And she loved one of them, and she was like, let's start developing it. So at the same time, we had brought in a writer that was a friend of mine from Jane, and we were doing these mini rooms. And so we were creating something based on a time in my life. While I was writing the Supergirl thing with this writing coach. So it was very serendipitous in that by the time they were like, we want you to write an episode, likely the storyline that I had written, I was like, okay, I just worked with this genius woman creating something from nothing. I think I know these characters so well. I've been on the show for a couple years now. I feel like
you pleaded this case to them. You really
no. This is all in my head.
It's all in your head.
My head is the wild place.
Okay.
On the outside, I was like, here's the sample. I'd love to explore this. I love writing. I've been working on it. And then they really loved it. They were like, we'll send this off. And then our other producers in the studio loved it. And then that was it pretty much.
But yeah.
And then COVID, and then life got complicated and COVID stretched out longer. Melissa was having a baby. And then we found out it was our final season. And so they had to scrap the storylines and start over. But because they committed to an episode, they kept their word. And
did you have to rewrite it?
Oh, I started from scratch. So I had to join the writer's room. So I had to.
Wait a minute. Yeah. So they scratched the episode that you were going to do.
The whole season.
The whole season because it's all changed.
It's the final. They had to redo everything for the third time.
And so that had to be a little disappointing since you wrote something you were really happy with, but now you had to start from scratch. But they still were interested.
I was like, this isn't going to happen anymore. It's fine. In my mind.
This is their way of saying, we like you. You're so sweet, but no thanks.
And I would get, it's the final season of a show that's been on for a long time. But there was a 3 or 4 episodes that I didn't do because I joined the writers' room. I really feel like I just kept showing up and.
Were they annoyed?
No, I think they were like pleasantly surprised.
You just kept showing up every day. Would you be quiet?
I did a month.
Or would you be assertive and go, I have an idea. What if this happened?
Yeah.
And they were cool with that. They're like, this fucking actors in the room.
I would wait until
everybody spoke.
I would wait until there was like a stall, and then I would really think about what I was going to say, and then I would only try to offer solutions. Or with my character or Kyler's character, I felt comfortable speaking up with representation and certain things like you can't do that, or for this arc storyline, let's bring in guest stars, to make it more authentic. And things like that, and they were really well received. But I'm really close with our I've always been closer with our writers than anyone on the show. Right. So a lot of them were my friends.
So then you kept just pitching these story ideas?
Yeah.
And they said, we love it, write it?
Yeah, well, we did. I was in the room for months. So we did 3 episodes, but broke the arcs for 3 episodes all together. And then as we were doing it, people were going off writing their episodes. And then we broke blind spots pretty roughly, but they gave me a lot of leeway. And then I went off and wrote it with Jay, who's the co-writer of the episode. And
were you nervous?
I think here's the thing. I do something and don't think about how hard or scary it is until I'm like,
God, I wish I was you.
85% in.
Jeez.
And then I have a panic at 85%, but I've usually committed, I have to do it. And so I'm like, I'm almost there. I've got to just buckle down. And then I push past the last bit.
And what was the most important thing when you were writing this that you were thinking of, that this is what I want to come across? This is what I want people to understand? Because I felt like it was really cool how you said something about the superheroes, that they're part of the problem, that Supergirl and all her Justice League, they were part of the problem with racial injustice and all these things. That's a difficult subject. That's hard to tackle for anyone.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially when you're, doing notes calls and in rooms, and this character has been built up as the hero that's the best of everyone. Right. And then you have to, it's interesting to watch how people react to those scenes when they're reading them, because people get very defensive. It's almost like it's them that is being attacked.
Right.
But
you bear down.
I did.
You just said, F it. I'm going to do this.
Yeah. Yeah. And I, even with our fans, I find a lot of them, we were lacking empowerment of oneself. And it's like, superheroes aren't going to save the day. Like, the whole point of this is that hopefully you take some of that for yourself and empower yourself. That
we all have a superhero in us.
Yes.
We all can be superheroes.
Yes.
By being good people.
Yes.
By
and not relying
up.
on someone to rescue you in your everyday life. This can be translated to so many things.
Wow.
And so what does it look like when you expect someone to rescue and they fail you? Like, how painful is that? How do you step up for yourself? How do you show up for yourself? So I think there were themes in it that hopefully people that watch the show that aren't like, oh, I'm not that, so I can't, it overrode that.
I read somewhere where David Ramsey, who was going to direct it, who directed it, Blind Spots, you worked very close with him. And you also worked closely with every department, with from props to them saying to the set design to whatever. I mean, you weren't just writing, you were designing, you were an integral part of the whole process.
Yeah, they really, later I asked one of our showrunners, Robert, I was like, what was that intentional, or did you just not realize that? And he was like, I knew you'd sink or swim, and I knew you'd swim. And they just, like casting decisions, I got to cast it. I got to go on location scouts, which I know writers don't normally do, and go over all the locations, approve prop guns and little knickknacks, table, like the restaurant.
That's a lot. You might as well have directed the episode.
But like my type A controlling personality, I was like, I loved it. I've never been more engaged. It was hard going back to just being an actor, honestly. I was like, everything was so personal. I had a sign of a restaurant I came out of that had my mom's name on it and was Ethiopian food, because she always wanted to have an Ethiopian restaurant. So our first location I built out was a restaurant. And when they sent me the approvals, and I don't even know if I told my showrunners this, but I texted my mom. So she actually picked out everything for her restaurant that was on TV.
Are you serious?
Yeah. So I got to make it personal.
Oh, man.
And I think you could feel that energy. And then talk about therapy. A lot of those speeches I would voice record, and as I'd be in my apartment with Daisy just sobbing as I'm like yelling, and it's like what you do in the shower, but I essentially just record it.
Wow.
And then write it out. And so
it's real emotion.
Yeah, it was real.
That's crazy.
Everything that was said was something I felt.
So at this point, when this episode comes out, you've made Dad proud. Has that happened yet? At this point, he was like, come on.
I think when the superhero, when the Guardian 1 sheet came out, a lot of young Eritrean girls that were like friends of kids, my dad's friends' kids, were so excited to see someone that looked like them be a superhero. I think that he was like, okay.
Right.
And to be the first of something.
Because you're a vigilante, right?
Yeah.
Ultimately, James Olsen, your brother,
Yep.
he was a guardian. And then he skips town and then you become a guardian.
Yeah.
See? You see how I put this shit together?
Yeah, that's impressive.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
I didn't look at that. I don't have that written down.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. Yeah.
But Dad was pretty pleased.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That made you feel good.
Yeah, it did. I got it. I'm proud of you, and that made me happy.
I like that.
Yeah.
What's it like? Had you ever kissed another woman before you got this role? Before you got?
Yeah.
You
I'm
have?
Sure. Yeah. I don't think this is. Yeah. I'm sure.
On a show? Are you talking real life?
We're gonna skip through this.
Well, no. What's it? Why are we gonna? Morgan's like, hang on a second. No, but I'm just wondering. On a TV show, have you ever had to kiss a woman?
I think so.
You think so? I would remember that. If I had to kiss a man, which I have,
Yeah.
it got cut. I don't know. Maybe I was a bad kisser. I don't know why, but it was Jason Isaacs in Sweet November with Keanu Reeves and Charlize Theron. And I made out with him in a scene in the background and they cut it. And the director was so like, oh, that was great. If you could do it again. It was really touching. No. Oh, shit, man. I sounded French.
What is he?
Let me do it again.
Okay.
Michael, Jason, that was really great, but.
Scottish.
Close.
What are you
Irish.
guessing?
I don't know. I wasn't doing a good job.
Okay.
I wasn't doing a good. It takes me a little sheep stealing, hood and bastard. Just the words I use to try to get in the flow of things like that. You know, it's like off the lilt. But I remember it got cut, and so. But anyway, you know, I remember that moment when I kissed a man.
I wonder if it's more memorable for men than it is for women.
Yeah, because women are supple and beautiful
We're
and
just
sweet,
kinda like,
and men are hairy and.
And I think there's like
I don't know.
societal weird. I feel like straight men will get very uncomfortable or weird, and I don't know. I feel like women are more like.
I don't get uncomfortable at all. I'll kiss a dude.
Did you just get uncomfortable?
Well, no.
I won't kiss you.
Okay, that's fine.
I mean, unless you wanted me to, or if I had to, if we were acting in a scene together.
If the situation called for it, sure.
Of course.
The situation called for it.
Yeah, I'm not scared like that. I'm a thespian, for God's sakes.
Yeah, I don't know what that says about me, but yeah, no, I don't remember. I think I like block out chunks of my life, honestly.
But those kissing scenes, so they don't even affect you at all. It's like, I have to make out with Kyler. Great. I like Kyler. I love working with her.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun and comfortable and a great atmosphere. Yeah. And do you enjoy it?
Yeah. Her and I, it's great. She's a babe.
I love it. She's a babe.
She is a babe. We're such a team. You know, these shows are like chaos. And there's 3 units going at the same time. You're doing you're being shuttled between multiple episodes. So her and I had a really fantastic work relationship, and we're like work wives. So like we would order each other lunch every day. We would, she did the morning coffee run. I would do the afternoon. We had our same drinks that we really were like work wives in that way. And when things were bad, we would kind of cocoon. And so we had intimacy in our real relationship. And so the more that grew, it just felt more and more comfortable. It got tricky with COVID too, because we weren't really supposed to as much, which was unfortunate. But.
Do you work out a kissing scene? Like I remember having to like, oh, if I do this and I do this, and you choreograph things. Mm-hmm. Is that how you do it? Like, what if I kissed you on the neck and then I kissed your lips?
Only if cameras like that doesn't work for us. But we were so comfortable with each other after a while that we didn't even, which again, COVID officers were like, you have to tell us. Right. We would just kind of feel out scenes and do it.
Wow.
We were lucky.
You're a pro.
I think if I didn't like who I was working opposite of, it'd be tough. It would be hard.
I'm sure there's been guys you've had to kiss that you're like, I didn't like that. I don't want to have to kiss this guy.
You know what's weird?
What?
And I just did not happen with Kyler, and I've talked to her about it because I remember our kissing scenes very clearly. But with men, like when I was on Jane the Virgin, like I would black out kind of the male kissing scenes. Like I would like remember starting it and then just kind of like not remember.
Were you just method acting, or you just weren't like?
I don't know, maybe a coping mechanism.
I'm
Getting paid to do this, and it's weird.
Right.
But I wouldn't remember. And poor Brett Dyer, who I was opposite, was always like, I don't know whether to be offended by that. I'm like, oh, it's not personal. I do this all the time, but not with women.
You just kind of zone out, but with women, you feel more comfortable.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
That's interesting.
I haven't unpacked that yet. I'll tackle that in therapy tomorrow.
Yeah, well, maybe tackle that in therapy, and then we could talk about that again.
Yeah, we'll do follow-up.
Because that's interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
I want to talk about that more, but we won't. This is Shit Talking with Azie Tesfai.
Yeah.
I said it right.
Yeah.
These are my patrons, my lovable patrons. Go to patreon.com/insideofyou, and you could ask questions to the guests and help the podcast. But so these are some questions you could go rapid fire. And
Great.
Were you going to say something?
These are questions from you or from
These
other
are
people?
questions from fans.
Okay, great.
From patrons.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'd never heard patrons use
Yeah.
it.
Patreon is a place where people can go online and they support the podcast.
Awesome.
So they support the podcast in many different ways. And so these are patrons that had questions.
Great. Let's do it.
Little Lisa, who is the prankster on the set of Supergirl?
There was...
You kind of prank, don't you?
No, I don't feel like anyone really does.
Not David?
pranks.
David seems like he'd prank. No, definitely not. She's like, nope, David does not.
No. Maybe Nicole. I don't know. Everyone's an adult and just kind of gets their job done. So I don't know about pranks. Yeah.
I didn't say they didn't get their job done. I
But
mean, you could
like,
still go on set and get your job done while you're having fun.
Maybe like one of our camera operators, Rosie, likes to do like during soccer tournament. He'll do fun teasing things. So maybe more crew than cast.
All right.
Yeah.
Michelle K. What's one thing people would be surprised to learn about you? Can you sing?
No.
Can you dance?
No. I mean, I did not like professionally. I'm pretty untalented.
I don't believe that for a second.
I don't know. I'm an overthinker. I'm a major overthinker, which
you?
I've shared now. Like, yeah, my head's
You
a lot of
think
things.
about things too much.
Yeah.
Things that haven't happened.
Yeah.
But that's what I do. And they always say if you're thinking about the future, it's anxiety, and you're thinking about the past, it's depression, right? If you're focusing on that.
I live in those spaces.
I kind of do too.
Yeah. Yeah.
We got to be more present, don't we?
Yeah. I feel like I'm the duck with the feet, but like maybe looks a lot calmer, that I'm overthinking everything.
You know what? I think a therapist once told me this: if you can't control it and you can't change it, shelve it. So if this is the situation, I can't change this right now. I can't control this. Let it go. Let's shelve it to when I can deal with it. And that does help me.
That's really great.
Also, get out of my mind! I scream at myself sometimes.
Just in the middle of the street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Leanne, who has been a positive influence in your life and helped shape the person that you are today?
Whoa, these are
Hey, man,
these are not rapid fire.
They're going for it. They could be rapid fire, or they could be thoughtful. You know, you kind of take your time with them.
I'm my mom. You know, my mom. I grew up with a single mom, and she told me I could do anything. And when I went to quit, she's like, "You just keep pushing." So, my mom.
But not dad.
Not so much dad. My dad and I have a better adult relationship.
Does dad say, "I love you"?
Not a lot.
I'm proud of you.
Not a lot now, but not as much growing up. It was definitely
Right.
my mom. Yeah. Yeah.
We need that as kids.
Yeah, and I think there's something cultural with that, with being East African, or, you know, Eritrea's between Saudi Arabia and Yemen, like East African, Middle Eastern culture, where kids are kind of like seen and not heard, and there's not as much like words of affirmation. It's like, I love you because you have a home, and I feed you, and I pay for your schooling, you know, and
My dad used to say that. Who puts a roof over your head? I'm not a good father?
Yeah.
I don't have a meal on the table?
Yeah.
I go, oh, so parenting is just about it putting a roof over my head. Is that what you're saying? It's not. I think the most important thing is emotional connection.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's mostly about, I'm proud of you, son. I love you, son.
Mm-hmm.
Things like that, connecting. But I think that's it's a different time period where they grew up in. It's how
they were loved and raised, you know, what they were shown, what they define as being the head of a household or taking care of their family is different than what we think now. So, yeah.
Yeah. Dev Nexon.
Dev.
Do you Dev. Do you personally think it's essential or at least helpful to know a bit about comics for playing such a character or not?
I did. Also, they let me. I had a say in my designing my super suit, which was crazy. I think people just lost their mind the last year and were like, yeah, it's fine. She'll figure it out. So I do love the comics. I'm a big Bumblebee fan, and Mal Duncan, who's a version of the Guardian, and we co-designed the suit with a lot of that intention.
Jeez, what didn't you do?
I did a lot this last year. It was great for my.
That's gonna be great because I could see you now. I could see you as a director.
I don't want to direct. I have zero desire to direct.
I bet you eventually you will.
The thought of being in pressure and having to manage a lot of people sounds like my version of hell.
Well, create them. Just create and write.
If I can do it in my bed, that's like the sweet spot.
If you could do it in your bed.
Yeah, right.
Oh, yeah. I was like, what the hell?
You can't direct in your bed.
Right, you can't direct in your bed.
So that's a no-go for me. This is now how I look at my creative lens of deciding what I want to do. I can write in my bed. So
Dana S., I loved your episode with Black Lives Matter. Made me cry and feel included in the discussion. Gave all the correct things to say to our allies. Such a heartfelt episode. Thank you.
I was hoping that it would help with conversation.
Wow. Are you getting offered to write more things now?
Yeah.
You are?
Yeah. So
you got some things in the works?
Yeah.
Can't talk about it?
No, but I'm excited and it's exciting. I don't know. It's hard going back to just acting for me.
Well, we need more female voices.
Yeah.
We need you to do it. Keep doing it. You're good at it.
I love it. And it makes me really happy. And there's a lot of stories that haven't been told. And so I'm like, okay, let's do it. And again, I just collected kind of great people from different shows and writers and partnering with them on different ideas and trying to get that stuff made. But Supergirl is special because it was, when do you get to write your superhero coming out story? Like
never. You're the first Arrowverse actor to have a writing credit in Arrowverse series.
Yeah. I think
that's
first
incredible.
For Berlanti ever, and then second for the network.
Are you glad the season
after Justin?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Are you glad?
Who I ran into recently and told him I was coming on your podcast because I know his wife.
What did he say?
She was on Jane the Virgin. He was like, he's the best. He was like, come over and have some tequila with me and his wife after we talk about it.
Nice. This has been a real treat. By the way, did you cry at the that it's the last season? You're done, right?
Yeah.
Did you cry in the final episode? Like, no. This is it?
So the finale, the series finale is Kyler and I's wedding. So, and they built out a full wedding. I mean, it was this gorgeous estate that they took over. I mean, you walked in and you were like, oh, this is somebody that has a lot of money is getting married. It was beautiful. And so, and every cast member from the beginning pretty much was there. And wow. And Makad walked me down the aisle. And so there was it was an emotional experience to have a wedding scene. And then I think that environment created a lot of extra emotion, but not until I was pretty solid. And Katie McGrath said that when they did like my final goodbye, I was smiling. She's like, you didn't look very sad. I was like, was I smiling? She's like, it was disturbing. It was like a plastered smile on your face. But I was like ready. I was ready to move on. And then I said bye to a couple of crew members I'm really close with, like our first AD, Bob. And I was giving them very personal gifts and notes. And I burst into tears.
Really?
Yeah.
Isn't it always the crew guys that you're just like, they're feel
like
so
my boys,
at home with?
Yeah, they're protectors too. We have like...
Did you have any of those guys like JD? The JD film Supergirl, or did you work with Glenn Winter at all?
Yeah.
Glenn's the best.
Glenn's great. Yeah. And then we had, and Rosie was from The Flash, and Paul, our B cam operator, and our ADs, like those guys were they're protectors in the best way. And so the show it's a lot. And when you're on location, it's a lot. And they just were, for me personally, I had different experiences on the show. Some were good, some were bad, but they were always like a solid, stable, kind, like place to land. And so saying bye to them was the hardest. Yeah.
Will you miss it? Do you miss it?
I'm gonna miss being a superhero. I miss the crew. I think it felt right to be done.
Right.
The fear in you always wants to do like one more season.
Yeah.
But it was done. And you could feel it. And a lot of people were already mentally done. Like I came on later. I wasn't on since the beginning. I can't imagine doing 100-something episodes of television, but it felt right. Yeah.
Well, I loved having you on. Did you enjoy it today?
I did. This was like really easy. I could do this all day.
Yeah. I really had fun.
Yeah.
I don't like to talk too much, but like, an hour to me is like, it's.
Did we do an hour?
Probably. Did we do an hour, Ryan?
Yeah.
Wow. Look at that.
Doesn't that just fly?
You're so good at this.
Oh, thanks. I was a little nervous because we don't know each other.
I know.
And we don't, it's just like, and it's not like I watch Supergirl every day.
Yeah.
And so you're like, what do you do? And you're like, what do you do every episode? You just talk to a human being.
Yeah.
So hopefully,
And we're both big on therapy. I feel like that's like then you know.
It's important. It's important. And you opened up and you shared with the audience, and they'll gravitate towards you because they like that. They like when people open up and if they learn something from you, which I learned something from you. And so thank you.
Thank you
for having me.
And Blanche.
Wait, I had you. Blanche. And Blanche and Ryan.
And Ryan. Sorry that I said Blanche first, but Blanche
it happens.
Yeah, pretty fantastic dog.
She's pretty cute.
Yeah.
She is a cute dog, isn't she? Yeah. All right. Thanks again for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Azie Tesfai. Great interview. Just really humble and sweet and easy to talk to. And I didn't know her. I didn't know her at all. And, a lot of times when you don't know someone, I get a little nervous. I get a little, oh my God, I want them to like me. I want them to enjoy themselves. I want them to maybe come back. And, you can only control what you can control, Ryan.
Can I say those have been the best ones recently? The ones where you're like, I don't know this person. I don't know what we're going to talk about. And then you guys talk and it's fine. And they turn out great.
I think you're right.
Because you learn about somebody. And that's kind of what this is about. You want to learn.
I want to learn.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I learn about somebody either way, but when I don't know them at all, I learn a ton.
Yeah.
And so do you.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you, Azie Tesfai, for coming on the podcast. You're welcome back whenever you want. Remember to follow us on the handles at Inside of You Podcast on Instagram and Facebook, at Inside of You Pod on the Twitter. Mm-hmm. And what else? Make sure you listen, watch, tell your friends to do the same. And if you want to join Patreon, the lovable, loving patrons that I have, patreon.com/inside of you. Is that what it is? Mm-hmm. And they're fantastic. They've become such great friends, such a great community. They give back to the podcast. They help to keep the podcast afloat. And I'm going to read those names off now. And be sure to, if you're in the giving spirit, echoesofhope.org for foster youth, foodonfoot.org for the homeless situation here in Los Angeles. Tell them I sent you. And also the Ronald McDonald House. You can't do wrong by donating to those guys. Yeah. And Food on Foot, if you give $25, they'll receive $50. They get $50. So go foodonfoot.org for more information. Right now, we're going to read off our lovely patrons. These are the top tier patrons. They get boxes from me every couple of months because they give the most that you can give on the podcast, on the patron thing. Are you still doing your BetterHelp?
I am.
You still working with BetterHelp?
I am. Yeah, and I have a therapist right now who's really stuck, and she's really hands-on.
Really?
Yeah.
So you're digging it?
I am, yeah.
Oh, that's good, man. I just got a new therapist, too, and it's helping me.
Yeah.
In fact, I told her, she goes, what are you thinking? I go, well, I thought that I just didn't want to be on this conversation, and I'm having anxiety talking to you, and then all of a sudden, 20 minutes in, I feel really comfortable. So know that even myself, when I'm talking to a therapist, I get nervous, I'm anxious, and then all of a sudden it starts to dissipate, and I start to feel comfortable and let go, and that's when the real work comes in, comes through.
Yeah.
Here are the top tier patrons. Here we go. Nancy.
D.
Leah.
F.
What?
S.
Yes. Sarah.
V.
Little.
Lisa.
Kiko. Jill.
E.
Brian.
H.
Mama Lauren.
G.
Nico.
P.
Jerry.
W.
Robert.
B.
Jason.
W.
Kristen.
K.
Amelia.
O.
Allison.
L.
Raj.
C.
Josh.
D.
It's Joshua. Emily.
F. S.
Yes. S. CJ.
P.
Samantha.
M.
Jennifer.
N.
Stacy.
L.
Jen.
Z. I forget.
Take a guess.
Jen. C.
S.
S.
You got through quite a few of them without messing up. Jamal.
F.
Yes, Janelle.
B.
Kimberly.
E.
Mike.
D.
E. Eldon.
Supremo.
99.
More. Mira.
Santiago.
M.
Chad.
W.
Leanne.
P.
Janine.
R.
Maya.
P.
Maddie.
I.
S. Belinda.
L.
N. Chris.
R.
H. Dave.
Jesus.
H.
I'm out.
Spider-Man.
Chase.
Sheila.
G.
Brad.
D.
Ray.
H.
Tabitha.
T.
Mr.
Ed.
Mr. M. Liliana A. Michelle K. Michael S. Talia M. Betsy D. Lori L. Chad L. Rochelle. Nathan E. Marion. Meg K. Janelle P. Dan N. Big Stevie.
W.
Angel M. Rhiannon C. Corey K. Super.
Sam.
Coleman.
Coolers.
Coleman Coolers. Coleman G. Coleman Goolers. Dev Nexon. Michelle A. Liz I. Jeremy C. Andy T. Cody R. Sebastian K. Gavinator. David C. John B. Brandy D. Yavor. Camille S. The C. Getting down to the nitty gritty here. Joey M, Willie F, Christina E, Adelaide N, Jeffrey M, Omar I, Lena N, Eugene and Lee. Hello, guys. Chris P, Nikki G, Corey, KTB, Patricia, Heather L, Jake B. Thank you, patrons, top patrons. Thank you all patrons for sticking with Inside of You podcast and with me. It means a shit ton that you guys give so much to the podcast and you support me so much, and I will never forget it. And I'm going to keep doing this podcast until you stop supporting me, I guess. Right?
Yeah, sure.
What else can I do? Happy holidays. We got a couple of great episodes coming up, so do not miss them. Put them in your calendar. Every Tuesday I'll be here with you, or whenever you decide to listen to the show from the Hollywood Hills in Hollywood, California. I am Michael Rosenbaum.
I'm Ryan Taylor.
That's Ryan Taylor's right over there. A little wave to the camera. And thanks for allowing me to be inside of each and every one of you today. And I hope you have a glorious freaking week. Be good to yourselves, guys.